Hey nerdos, for today's assignment, we're finishing what we started last week. Last week, we met Spiri the Cursed Soul Lantern. Today, we meet his unnamed facial counterpart, aka, you know it, it's mask time. For every mask I make, I start with taking armature wire and make an outline of my supremely oblong face. And then once I have a base layer done, I connect everything with floral wire to make sure it's connected, and then take another piece of armature wire, which is going to serve as a structure for the face. I then will tie that in place and adjust it accordingly, and then once I have the shape how I want, it's time to wrap all of this in aluminum foil. I always start with a layer of foil to secure in the middle area, and then I use a sculpting tool to press in the areas where the eyes and nose and mouth regions are going to be. Wire is then added to map out the eye holes, and then are tied into place before foil is added to shape out future facial features. This week's mask I drew inspiration from Bane, the low-key mask from the Mask film, and Raphael from the original Ninja Turtles movie. Each mask I make at this stage, the main areas I'm addressing are stylization and functionality equals synergy. I want the mask to ultimately fit, be comfortable, but also be expressive. With each layer of foil added, I use it as a checkpoint to lock in a layer, continuously tested it and shaping it against my face, all while ensuring the shape is also going to hold. Once I have the final form, I tie the nose area with the armature wire, do a final test, and then I move forward to phase 2, and using Super Sculpting Original. Before anyone asks, no, this is not what you think. I am still using foam clay, as a mask 100% made out of original would be super heavy. That said, for this mask specifically, I wanted there to be an amalgamation of faces, small pinwheels, some thorns and some vines. It is always hard to detail that much with foam clay, so to offset my sanity, I'm using Sculpting Original to make a handful of varied faces, and later using cos clay and medium for the latter. Admittedly, I should have just used cos clay for all of the above, as it remains flexible and would contour easier, but I was worried that it would be heavier and cause some drooping, which actually didn't happen. So while it all does work, lesson learned. With all of my feature pieces of flare done and currently baking, it's time we bust out the foam clay and build the star of the show. One of the many benefits of foam clay is the pliable nature of it, also while it's holding its shape, and once fully cured will remain lightweight and sturdy. It also requires little for it to adhere to most objects, such as foil, wood, or even some plastics. As you use it, it is going to start to form a skin, so a spray bottle of water can go a long way to keep it pliable. At this juncture, I am taking my time within reason, just to ensure the primary layer of clay added is pressly formed onto my armature. In the long run, this is what's going to help ensure it's not going to deteriorate, have any cracking, or require any maintenance outside of some glue here and there. Specifically on the back of the mask is where my focus is. Ultimately, this is how I'm going to ensure it's holding its shape. Ultimately, it is hard to tell how this step will go, as most masks will take anywhere from 3 to 7 days to fully cure, depending on the amount of clay added. But the steps I'm showing in here, and also taking later on, will ensure that the mask will not fall apart, and I'm currently 9 masks deep, and I haven't had any compounding issues. With my feature face shaped appropriately, it's time to get weird. I wait for all the clay pieces to fully cure, and then place each piece of cursed bedazzlement into my mask. In the previous stage, I was practical and methodical. Now, I'm a kid jacked up on sugar on a Saturday night with nothing but video games and Hot Pockets to be concerned with. I am in legit full fun mode, and placing each piece as I see fit, and making sure it's also fit in the aesthetic. I mean, you are allowed to have fun with crafting, you know? Begrudgingly, it was at this moment I realized my camera stopped recording, so you don't get to watch me make the nostrils or the creepy grin I made, and I apologize. But as a consolation prize, you do get to watch me stab it with toothpicks and put some gem pieces on it, so you know there's that. And then after this, I do go off camera and spray 3 clips of plastic dip and allow each to dry an hour between each coat. Plastic dip is what's used to seal in the foam. Off camera, I had a dilemma. I made this super cute yet horrifying face that I couldn't make work on the mask and didn't know what to do with. So logically, I'm going to be extending this project and making an entire base just so it feels important and has a home. Instead of plaster today, I'm going to be using Loctite spray foam to make the base, which, like most materials on this channel, is becoming a favorite of mine. The process is going to start with forming copious amounts of foil and to feature hills, rocks, and also valleys. And then I'm going to use an old canvas board as the base and form the foil around it and glue it all together. And then once I'm liking where I'm currently at, I'm going to make some strong supports for a feature mask holder on the base by using a super long rope armature wire. I take my wrapped wire and shape it into a feature stand for my mask, punch it into the holes, and then lock it in with super glue. And I just want to add some supreme caution. What you are about to see is the result of a can of spray foam that had air seep out. This is not normal in any capacity whatsoever. Alright, that's good enough. Full transparency, everything I'm showing is just for the sake of the video under normal circumstances. Generally, after you spray a layer of foam, you'll mist it with water and allow it 5 minutes to form a skin layer, which then you can lightly tap to shape it into the way that you want it. Mine already had layers of skin after spraying, so this step was kind of inertly happening. I do throw on, as you saw, some scrap bits of plaster for flair, namely anger, then continue to reshape it, and then I'll lay a plastic sheet down to create a crevice for Spiri to sleep at night. And here's my little guy in his home. There you go, buddy. Once this hot mess of a base is fully cured, it's finally time to paint. As always, my medium of choice are acrylic inks from Dollar Rowney. I start the base by painting it a mixed gradient of orange and brown, and once I cover it with some red, it legit looks like a coagulation river of hot Cheetos which are damned. So I try to neutralize the color later on by painting straight black along the edges and across the base, specifically focusing in the crevice area where Spiri calls home, and finally over my little scary dude's face. And then once all of this is dry, the little scary dude will get painted orange and his eyes and mouth are going to get painted black. I allow the base to completely dry before aggressively dry brushing straightway across varied areas. Normally I don't dry brush much anymore after I airbrush, but this base has a lot of self-created details that I want brought out. Once the base is fully done, we shift our focus to my face. My better face. My goal with the mask is to have it somewhat match the color palette on Spiri, but also differentiate it in its own way. So I start with an olive green color and spray it across the entirety of the mask, cautious to still allow the recessed black areas to come through for definition. Moments later after this dries, I'm going to black out the eye area and also the lips, and then also add black to the random faces and some of the pinwheels for variance. With the black now applied, I go over the teeth with titanium white, and then I bring back some of the green with some lighter green all across the areas of the mask. Before filming, I actually asked some friends of mine for some color ideas for the mask, and one of my friends who's in the art spectrum as well recommended copper. Love the idea, but I don't have copper paint. But I do have these chrome markers, and one of them happens to be copper. For this mask, I'm actually going to go over the pinwheels and faces with copper, and then I did add some metallic silver to some of the spikes as well. Just want to give a special shout out to Laura for this great idea. It came out great on the mask. Thank you so much. The final paint I apply is a thin line of red for some reason down the right side of the face. I then take some moments to soak in how this looks before we push forward towards the finish line in adding our felt and elastic. For my mask, I draw an outline around it on felt, allowing a 1/2 inch excess and cut it out. I then draw the lines across where the eyes and mouth areas end, and then cut these and apply them in the mask with Fabri-Tac. For some that attempt this, they're going to feel this is an unneeded step, but I encourage you to do so for no other reason than the felt will essentially act as a backing and support onto the foam, and if you do have any kind of cracking in the future, the felt will actually keep the mask holding its shape, and it actually will also feel more comfortable on your face as well. Once the random bits of felt are added, we start the process of measuring out the elastic for our mask. Everyone is different, so make sure you're measuring it for you if you're doing it for you, or if you're making a mask as a gift or for someone else or possibly someone in the cosplay, make sure that you're aware of that as well. Once I measure out the elastic, I do cut it and then glue it on, and then I seal those in with thinner straps of elastic for some support. I want to mention that for the straps, I find better success gluing onto the felt instead of right onto the plastic dip layer of the mask, as the plastic dip can also chip away, and I do find that the felt is somewhat sturdier. I do repeat these same steps as well for a head strap that's done off camera. Once all the glue is dried, it's time to assemble this curse combo onto the base, and then it's time for a very rewarding trip to the Never place, where our mask and lantern combo can shine. Literally. I just want to take a moment to just thank all of you who enjoyed my 2-week journey making this somewhat disturbing lantern and mask combo. I truly appreciate the support. You all seem to really got a kick out of how Spiri came out, and it really means the world to me that you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the mask as well, as it was super fun to make. If you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate if you would hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then set the bell notifications for all updates. It all goes a long way in helping the channel grow. I will be back next week. I do have an idea planned out, and since nobody lives in the air around this time, maybe we do the antithesis of it. Until then, take care, stay blessed, and we'll talk to you next time, guys. Take care.